past weekend, I talked to a mermaid. I know some of y'all right now are like, okay, he needs to put the weed down. He needs to stop smoking that seaweed. You didn't talk no fucking mermaid. No, I'm being real with you though. I ran into this dude on my Instagram going through followers and shit one day, and there's like a community, I guess, of people that I spoke about this the other day. Of people that like are in the mermaid lifestyle. You know, I'm not gonna lie. When I first prepared for this interview, I thought this is gonna be like the weirdest fucking shit ever. Dude's actually pretty fucking cool, and you know the things he talked about are pretty cool. They do a lot of shit for kids, a lot of shit for environmental causes, nonprofits, things like that. I'm gonna get into this call that I had with the Montrose Merman. The audio got kind of cut at the beginning, just at the intro, so bear with me on the intro part. But yeah, this is the Montrose Merman. We had him on an interview over the past weekend, so check it out.
Montrose Merman on the line.
Hello.
Today. How are you doing today?
Good. I'm well. Thank you. On dry land.
Well, now, for those people who don't know what it is to be, part of the mermaid community, could you explain a little bit of what you do?
Well, there's a large community of people who swim in mermaid tails. A lot of them are involved with entertaining children or environmental causes. And there's about two conventions a year. We just had one last February in Washington, D.C., Virginia. And we had about 300 people show up for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And how did you get into this?
I've always been interested in mermaiding since I saw Jason and the Argonauts many, many years ago. And then I saw Splash, and, it sort of inspired me. And also I wasn't a very good swimmer. And actually I learned to swim better with a tail than with legs. I went underwater with a tail than without legs, with legs. So everyone's got a different experience of what interests them, but I enjoy it. I sort of tell people ask me about it, and I said, well, it's sort of like, RuPaul's Drag Race, but it's underwater.
Oh, okay. So do you guys get into the crypto side of it at all, with the proof or finding proof of mermaids existing and things like that?
What's that, crypto? I didn't follow.
Cryptozoology is basically like the mythical creatures. Do you guys get into like the trying to find proof of real mermaids or anything at all?
Not really. We read a bunch of stuff, and there's a lot of some bad fake stuff that they've put out in the last 3 years. But yeah, I always think that there's always been something out there. I guess the ocean's not even explored as fully as the space is, and so it's. I do think there's probably some explanation to it.
Okay. And now, so you said this is more like kind of like RuPaul's Drag Race underwater. You said. Well,
it's the equivalent. We dress up, we wear crowns, some of us have expensive tails. There's a few $1,000s that people spend. You can get a tail starting about $80, $50, and they can go well over $6,000 a pop. And that doesn't include your crowns, your accessories, and if you travel to these Mercons, we call them, like Comic-Con, we call them Mercons. You got your hotel and airfare, and I think it's it adds up. But yeah, some people are really serious about it, and some people are entertainers, and I just do it for the fun of it. And if I get any notoriety out of it, that's okay. But I just do it for myself, my fun. So.
Oh yeah, and I was looking into because I wanted to do a little research. So I was Googling you the other day, and then I came across one of the mer community websites, and he was talking about the prices people are paying for some of their mermaid equipment. Like you were saying, I didn't realize how much money actually was invested into this.
Oh yeah, it gets expensive. I've got a gold tail, silicone tail that was made by Flip Tails, and I got a deal on it, but it would retail for $5,600, and that's all silicone. That's all dragon skin silicone, and that's a lot of work for an artist to create those. And they're really they're durable. They're heavy. if someone wanted to learn to swim in one, I would recommend a fabric tail. And actually, fabric tails, in my opinion, are surpassing the look of a silicone tail. And tails are a lot lighter and easier to use. And people ask, well, what does it cost? And I said, well, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You can get a tail for about probably $80 and a decent monofin with it to swim for a beginner, and a lot of people who get involved in this, they want to think they're going to go out the door and be a big star. And there are a handful of people who actually make a living off of this. So it's a very niche market for an entertainer.
Oh yeah, like I didn't realize how big the actual community itself was until I started Googling you, because I was like, okay, this guy's got to be like the only guy doing this. There's got to be a bunch of news stories on him, something like that. And I'm like, wow, there's whole communities of people on this. Yeah,
I was featured in Washington Post for the DC convention, and I've been involved with the up in San Marcos, Texas. They have a mermaid parade every year in September, and that benefits the watershed up there. And they also have a ball and a parade, and I believe the 19th or 21st of September, but this will be the third year, and it's a big event. But a lot of us really try to, incorporate, the being an environmentalist for the water, the oceans, and like plastics and, junk and just throwing garbage in the ocean and straws and everything, So it's just not just swimming in a mermaid tail. There's a lot more into it, involved in it than just that, we try to incorporate.
Okay. And now, what are some of the biggest obstacles you've seen with becoming a part of this community?
Learning to swim for me, also when a person starts this, you really don't know your character, and I think that sort of evolves in time, where you find who you are as a person in the community, and that's a learning process. You've got to be sort of thick-skinned, because there's a lot of there's some people that are I would say jealous, don't want new people in the community, and so you've got to really have a thick skin and just basically do it for yourself first. Make yourself happy first, and don't chase other people after other people. What I would say.
Well, so it's not too dissimilar from just the entertainment industry, I guess.
Yeah, I would think that. That's why when people ask me, I refer to RuPaul's Drag Race. There's some people who are sort of catty about it, and I just say it's underwater and it gets expensive, and just do it for the fun of it, So.
Oh yeah. In fact, I ran across some people getting catty about you, and I was looking at what they're complaining about. I'm like, this guy's actually kind of hilarious. Like, they were saying something about you troll people and stuff. Is that like a part of your character?
No, I don't. There's a lot of trolling on both sides.
I thought your comments you were making on there were fucking hilarious, to be honest with you, because I'm a shock jock. I don't know if you listen to my other shows. I troll people and kind of just mess with people back and forth too, and I'm like, man, this dude's kind of like the mermaid version of what I'm trying to do. That's awesome.
Well, the thing is that there are, like you mentioned, the trolling part. There's a lot of attitude and jealousy, and we have the past year we have tried to quote weed them out, and we don't try to give them an audience. And we're not perfect, and I know I've said things in the past only because, and I regret, but also it's like when you say things, well, how did you get there? What provoked it? And there's just a lot of attitude and narcissism in mermaiding. And this past convention we all had a really, really good time. We had no problem with anyone there. I had a good time, and it's just that there are some people who've got some attitudes who have a diva mentality. And so there's no one who's perfect, but yeah, I do call people out.
Oh, good. Now, are these events, are they open to the public? Like anyone can come and kind of check things
Yeah.
out and see what you guys are about?
Yes. Oh yeah, yeah. The last one we had in DC was open to anyone, and we had people from the news crews from Russia. We had French TV crews. We had a lot of the press present. We had people bring their kids in. And it's amazing that this was probably 25 years ago. People would raise an eye at it and look at it and think that we're all a bunch of crazy people. But now, especially the parade in San Marcos, Texas, and the last convention we had, there's people bring their kids, and it's fun. It should be fun for everyone, and it's also a great segue for a person learning how to swim. And that's why I always tell people that you should be able to go enjoy it. Do it for fun first. If you get, don't go in there and say, well, I'm going to be a star, and then have parties and then go out there. It's hard, but yeah, it's open to the public, and we don't drown anyone.
Yeah, I actually, I was looking. I see you guys do a lot with the kids. With I think on some of the community sites they're doing like swimming lessons for the kids with the mermaid stuff. Like, I think that's really cool because I think this is definitely something that people's kids would love to see.
Oh yeah, a lot of the Mermaid Shannon, she does a lot of birthday parties and stuff, and others and for kids, and it's a lot of fun. They enjoy it, we really enjoy it. But the last few years, I think that the more conventions we have, we're getting out in the mainstream, where people look at us and go, oh, not gasp, and but yeah, we enjoy it. I enjoy it. I do it to make myself happy, and that's who comes first.
Oh, definitely, man. I mean, you got to be happy with what you're doing in life. Otherwise, there's no point.
Right.
And now, how long have you been doing this?
Oh, I've been swimming for 3 years now. Really, the last couple, last 3 years, really, I've swam. But I've been involved with it for at least 10 years, or so. I got my first tail in 2008, I believe. So, but I've got 4 or 5 tails now. So, and money spent.
Now, when I was Googling just the mermaid community in general, on Google you find all sorts of crazy stuff. I found another side of the mermaid thing that's it was a group for what they call merverts. That was all like an adult mermaid community.
Yeah.
Do you guys get involved with that at all? I mean, is there like a swinger community with it?
No, what that is, it's a website. I think it's sort of wrong that it's that called the Mer Network where you probably got that information from. It's sort of, in a way, sort of slandering people with putting people who are, quote, they think are a little bit weird and different or troublemakers. And they put people, it's not a swinger thing, it's people who they think that harass mermaids. It's not. It's
okay.
Okay. And they've put some people in there that really, I mean, it's like sort of labeling them, And I think part of the problem too is they do get some weird people attracted to mermaids. Well, mermaids are alluring and supposedly, supposed to be, sexy and stuff. And so they created that category. And in a way, I think I wish they would be a little bit more careful with that because, to me, it's like putting someone in a pedophile group. And that's sort of slandering, I think.
Right. Yeah. No, I was under the impression when I first had heard about it, I thought it was like the mermaids who were in the fetish side of it made their own group or something. I didn't realize they were just labeling people. That's messed up.
Yeah, that's not right. And there are some people who do deserve probably that label, but I would never even create that group, and then publish it. And if is a group. I mean, if there's people like that, they should just be blocked, But I think labeling people